Hello and welcome to United Way Today. I'm your host, Kendra Scott, a volunteer with United Way of Central Kentucky, and today it's my honor to talk with some very key and very committed volunteers with United Way. You'll have the opportunity to meet our 2015 campaign chairperson, the 2015 leadership chair, and another great individual, Mr. Ryan Wheeler, who is involved with local businesses leading the way in our campaign. So please help me to welcome our 2015 Leadership Chair, Ms. Lindsey Alicna from Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Welcome, Lindsey.
Thank you for having me.
Glad to see you. Mr. Greg Milby, everyone knows and loves Greg, the voice of Quixie, our 2015 United Way CK Campaign Chairman.
I should have you do more intros for me. That's great.
Oh, thank you. I do what I can, yes.
Everybody loves me.
And the lovely and talented president of United Residential Mortgage, Mr. Ryan Wheeler, who is a new member in our Business 365. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're
Thanks
glad
for
to have
having
all of you here. Thank you so much. All right. Well, we're going to jump in and just talk. I mean, everybody wants to know about the campaign and how's it going and what's been accomplished so far. So first of all, Greg and Lindsey, tell me why you chose to step into these leadership roles this year, because those are big shoes to fill and huge responsibility. But what drew you to do that, and what have you gained from it?
You want to go first? Ladies first? Go
Ladies
ahead.
first. You know, Megan called, actually Brian Kerr called me first, and nobody can say no to Brian Kerr.
This is true. You can't.
So when that phone call came in, I kind of dug in and learned a little more about United Way and what they do for this community, and it is unbelievable, all the different places that they touch. And so the more I learned, the more I knew I couldn't say no. And we all have a lot on our plate, but I knew I could find some time to give to United Way, and the more I've learned, the more passionate I've gotten about the organization, and it makes a huge impact in the community.
It really does. And as leadership chair, that's very specific, and you're working with a targeted group. So tell us, first of all, what it takes to be a leadership giver, and then what have you learned along the way as the chairperson, some of the experiences you've had?
Yeah, as a leadership giver, that means you give over $1,000, which is a huge sacrifice for families and people in this community, and we understand that. So to go out and meet with people, a lot of times we're meeting with them one-on-one even, which is fun. You get to learn a lot about people in our community that you never would have been able to touch before.
Exactly.
So I've loved those experiences, and a lot of times we're meeting in small groups as well, and so getting out and learning new businesses as well has been fun.
Okay, cool. And what about you, Greg? I mean, because you didn't have enough to do and everything, so you thought, sure, I'll just go ahead and be United Way chairperson as well. So how did that all come about?
Well, Lindsay came to my office in the middle of the summer, and she said, look, well, they're going to talk to you. And I thought, maybe a committee or something like that. But she said, no, we want you to be the campaign chair. And I'm like, well, I'm not a bank president. I don't own the company. And am I your guy? And she said, well, you care about the community, and that's what we're looking for.
There you go.
And I told her I needed to think about it for a few days because, just want to make sure everything's the right fit. And there were a couple of charitable events that I'd done that weekend, and then some other public service announcements we were doing on Quixie. I kept noticing that most of these were United Way agencies. And I started thinking, because my whole thing is sometimes I can get overcommitted because I want to help people and I want to do stuff, and my family loves doing it. And I got to seeing that these agencies that you're helping, that I was doing stuff with individually, are also part of the United Way. And then I always talk about in the campaign meetings about the ants and about how ants have to work together to move something, make something magical happen. Same thing with bees. This community, I always have people go, I want to get involved with a charity, I don't know how. Or I want to be able to give, but I don't know how. Well, see, this is an opportunity that you have to have faith in the United Way, that you give them your money and they're going to allocate that money wisely. And I make the joke with about Megan Sith with the United Way that they're cheap. And people chuckle and go in that awkward chuckle.
She is.
I'm frugal with my money, but they are. And that's what you want to be, because when I went to the United Way office, they're mowing their own yard. And I said, why do you mow your own yard? She said, well, it's $50 to have somebody do it. We can use that money in other places. So that made a lot of sense to me, and knowing what they're doing and how they're doing it. I like that, and how the money is allocated. It's not just handed to somebody. I mean, there's a application process, and so that really meant a lot to me. And I thought, well, if people want to give but they don't know where their money goes, this is a way that they can be assured that their money is being used wisely. So that's kind of how I got involved, because I wanted to be able to let more people be a part of it. And so when you go to these employment campaigns, you'll go and meet with 100 people. Well, that's an opportunity for them to know that they can give and they understand where their money's going. So
right. And
make
tell
a
us about
difference.
some of the things that you actually do as campaign chair, because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of involvement, but you said it's been great. So tell us what you've enjoyed, and then just some of the specific things that you do as in your role.
Well, I enjoy going to factories at like 11 o'clock at night.
I know, it's great.
And
I miss
doing
doing that.
campaign meetings. I enjoy getting out and meeting people that you don't normally see in a day-to-day business atmosphere. They're blue-collar workers, and you go in and you learn about them, and you understand to them how important their money is. So I've enjoyed doing that, getting to know people, and really and truly, Megan said a lot of people have United Way stories. Not everybody has heard, or nobody really knows they even have a United Way story, but it's been great to hear these United Way success stories. And I wish there was a way that I could put it out there for everybody to see. Anytime they're like, well, I don't really know what United Way does. Well, you know what? Here's a big packet of stories. Everything from a real small assistance to something that was major in somebody's life. They have those stories, and I want to continue to see those stories become success stories for everybody. Well, getting into the factories and getting these, it inspires me to help raise money, because I can't write the big checks. I mean, I can hold it like a Happy Gilmore check,
Right.
but when you sign it, you can't cash it.
Exactly.
But I like to be able to help people take all their smaller amounts of money and put them together and make that big check. So that's kind of been the fun thing for me, is letting the average Joe feel, because they do, know that they have an integral part in this community and making lives different for people.
Exactly. It all adds up. I tell people that the same thing. Whether it's $1 or $1 million, it makes an impact. It all helps. So it doesn't matter what you give. It's just the act of giving.
Yeah, and I tell people too, I mention all the time that everybody wants to make a difference. You want to leave your mark. I know you jokingly say we can't take money with you, but you really can't. You want to leave a mark like, I'd like to have Milby Street, but there's already a Milby Street. Joel Prather already has a highway.
True.
So you can't leave, you don't leave the same mark as other people, but you know what, I may not know the mark I've left or the life I've affected, that kid that had trouble at school because he couldn't eat. They didn't have food on the weekend, that the backpack program helped. I may not see that kid, but that kid may become a success, and then his tree, he just didn't change his branch, he changed his whole family tree.
There you go.
So that's kind of cool to be able to know that.
Awesome?
In a way, you have a part of that. So
Yeah, you're changing lives, and that's what United Way is all about. It's about the people. It's not the dollars and the agencies necessarily. It really is. It's the people. It's our neighbors, our coworkers, our employees. And talk a little bit, Greg, if you don't mind, about what you've seen for your business, how it's been affected and benefited by being involved with the campaign.
Well, there are just so many agencies that the United Way helps, and I invite people to go to the United Way website, unitedwayck.org. I mean, their website is amazing, and it's so transparent. I mean, you can ask anything, and they're going to answer it. They're going to give you the information you want. And I would go on a limb and say that there are a large percentage of people don't truly understand how deep United Way, Central Kentucky, digs into this community. So, and it's never about the money. We put a money on a campaign goal, but it's never about raising over $1 million or 1.3 million or whatever. That's just a number that equates to successful stories.
Right.
And you can never raise enough. If we raise $2 million, I'd like to see more. Why? Because that means more people, more programs, more opportunities for people to be successful.
You're exactly right. You could spend it. Because as you know, the mission is trying to eradicate poverty for the 1 in 6 and 1 in 4 in our community. So, I mean, there's always going to be a need for more money because there's always more problems, but you want to provide more solutions. So great job so far on the campaign. Let's talk about that though. Huge success. Campaign is still ongoing, so it's not too late for folks if they want to establish a campaign, make a contribution. We'll always take your money. I always say that. It's never too late to be involved in part of the team. But the success rate has been great this year, and so we're already over that $1 million mark, which is awesome. So kudos to all of you and the campaign volunteers that made that happen. It was all Lindsey.
Yeah, she did it all.
She didn't want to take the credit, but
But
We'll give Greg all the credit.
it's the community. I mean, they've done great, and we put a goal on it. But like I've said, it's never been about the goal. But people want to see, and there's a number that you want to shoot for. But it's just been great to see the successes of the campaign and just other programs that have come from the campaign. You know, whether it be Tocqueville or Small Business Circle, some of the other things that have developed over time. Not only is it raising funds that help people through the United Way programs, but it also brings people together. You know, networking. These are business people. These are community people. These are people that your kids play soccer with or basketball with that you didn't know were affected by United Way. I mean, they're bringing all these stories together and actually getting those stories out there is really, I think, is key to making the United Way even more of a success in our community.
We're all connected. So that kind of leads us to you, Ryan, a little bit, and talk about the Small Business Circle and why did you join? What was most compelling about United Way for you?
Well, I think obviously it's very instrumental for businesses, small and large, to give back to their community, obviously. And kind of like Greg said, there's so many great organizations, so many great agencies, you really don't know which one specifically because you want to give to all of them. Well, most business owners, managers, executives know that an important business task is delegation. Well, if you can delegate that to United Way, you know that they're a very transparent company. They give to all the organizations that you know that you believe in, so you can allow them to delegate your money and your charitable donations properly without having to just specifically choose one organization or agency. And so I think that delegation part is instrumental in for businesses to be able to kind of spread their money around to organizations instead of just specifically trying to target certain ones. So I think that was definitely played a key role in you know, we wanted to give back, obviously. So you know, having an organization like United Way, I think is huge in any community, but in particular this one, obviously, because this is the one that we work in, we live in, and so I thought that you know that was the best way to allocate you know, us giving back to the community and you know, trying to help make a difference, no matter how small or large, but. And I think that was probably the biggest factor. So,
and you're right. It's an easy vehicle to touch literally thousands of people. And as a small business owner, you don't have time to go door to door handing out checks to every agent, every nonprofit agency. And you're right. How do you pick and choose? And so it's nice that United Way has those professional volunteers, so to speak, that really go through very intense applications to make sure that dollars are spent as wisely as possible. So. And was it difficult? I think a lot of folks have this impression, oh, I'm too small. I can't get involved. This is hard. I have to jump through a lot of hoops.
Because we're a very small organization, so it was super easy. I mean, it couldn't be any easier, I guess, is the best way to sum that up. So I think, you know, no matter if you're a 1 or 2 man business or a 1,000-person business, you know, it's an easy process. So.
That's the good news. All right. Greg, you've talked about there are obviously numerous campaigns, but give us an idea about how many campaigns actually ran, how many companies were involved, how many meetings did you do, my friend? How many late nights did you spend?
I don't know how many meetings
you got to keep
did,
count, man.
You lose a count at a certain point.
You do.
But the fact is, the whole team itself, there were 156 campaign meetings. Now, I didn't attend.
He attended 155.
That's what I thought, 155.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
He missed the one at Quixie.
But you know what? That shows you the network of the United Way, Central Kentucky, too, because out of 156 meetings, I think maybe 2 meetings or 3 meetings I was in with the same people. There were different agencies that went to every meeting, different members of the staff that went to every meeting, and so you had different people each time. And you know, I learned at each one of the meetings because there were different stories, whether it be Martha Farmer's story about her heart surgery or other stories that you had, you know, or even Megan Stith with the United Way having a story to share, or Dana with the United Way. Everybody had a story to share, and so it was good to get that. But 156 meetings, that's a lot of campaign meetings.
Oh gosh, yes.
And some of these, it was at their, I guess, the state of the company meeting. So, you know, you would have a few minutes to talk. But you sat through a whole hour presentation of the company. I thought that was kind of impressive too, because I got to know a lot about the factories in our community.
You really learn what's going on in our community.
So there were a lot, and
that's not just in Hardin County. We need to make that clear, because United Way of Central Kentucky serves 5 counties. So there are meetings in Grayson County and over in Hodgenville, and so Meade County. You're all over the place. So, and that's great. That's, again, that network and all those folks from the entire region that are.
And the United Way employees are terrific.
Oh my gosh, they're
always
amazing.
there, and,
Amazing.
You know, I think Katie went out in the middle of the night to a meeting, and so I mean they're all there, and they go above and beyond to make our jobs easy. You have to say that.
Yeah.
They couldn't make it easier on us to make it a successful campaign, so they get a lot of kudos.
And when you look at organization, you know, I'm not very organized a lot of times. I fly by the seat of my pants. But the what they do is, you know, with the meetings, you know, you get these updates, and you know, okay, this is meetings here, and this is what we're going to be here, come here, do this, do that. If they're that detailed in their giving and the application process, which you know they are, and the group of people that allocate that money out, that's the kind of the organization I want to deal with. One, because if let's say I only have $100 to give, you know, I don't have a lot of extra income as an individual, so if I only have $100 to give, I want to make sure that $100 is used wisely. Not to say that I don't give to other charitable ventures or charitable things, but I know if my yearly giving, if I can give this amount of money to United Way, they're going to allocate that based on the needs that were applied for from each one of the agencies. So they make sure that money's used. And then the cool thing is, every month, those agencies have to file a report that says, hey, this is how we're using the people's money, because it's not United Way's money.
Exactly
it's still the people's money. They have to report back on how they're doing it. So it's just not about raising the money. It's about making sure the money's used wisely.
That's exactly right.
So,
those outcomes.
You know, for my family, it was so much time to go to different organizations and learn about them and how they were making an impact in the community. And when I got into United Way and realized that all these organizations that I was learning about, United Way was already funding. So it made it easier for my family to feel confident in our giving to United Way instead of going to each agency and giving to them individually. Of course, we always have our church there that we want to support and give to, but United Way has been a great source for my family and made it, like Ryan said, couldn't have been easier.
You're exactly right. Yeah. And again, I love because it impacts thousands and thousands of people. And so you really, it's a one-time thing. And what I love, and I've been involved with United Way literally since the dark ages, because I'm that passionate about it and love it and know what it does. And that's one of the reasons, because I've seen it evolve, and it's not just a Band-Aid agency, it's not just giving money, it is about the common good, it's about eradicating poverty, it's about making change, it's about providing opportunities. So we're not just throwing money and saying good luck with that, it is really how can these dollars be used for change to make things better. And so our agencies are all so on board with that and are working so hard. And I love that United Way does things, people think, oh, they just raise money. Are you kidding? No, there's volunteer opportunities, they're doing things, 2 great examples right here. Free tax preparation service, the VITA program. That's coming up in Hardin County starting January 23rd. Helping folks, again, helping to transition folks out of poverty by helping them prepare their taxes. Free, hello, free. It doesn't get any better than that by trained professionals. So if folks want more information, they can call 270-769-3092 and get signed up for that, because a lot of folks don't know that they get the child income tax credit and all that sort of thing. So that's awesome. Plus they do the Day of Carings and you know, the days of hunger and so many great things. Plus, we also want to talk about the grant training for agencies that want to be a part of United Way of Central Kentucky. That is coming up February 2nd and the 4th. That's from 9 to 11:30 at the United Way office on North Main Street in E-Town. So you have to attend in order to know how to complete the application, in order to get the dollars that you can use for your agency to make a difference. So all that information will be on the screen, because that's extremely important. You gotta go through the steps. That's the opening door to get trained to prepare the grant, so that all these agencies like Springhaven, like American Red Cross, Feeding America, we can keep those folks going. So
you know, one of the things too, just kind of stepping back a minute, where we talk about the giving, you know, a lot of charitable groups do events. And it's great to do those events. I consider that entertainment and a donation. When I talk about giving, some people think, well, you know, I do that. Well, you know, that's entertainment value for you there too. But if you didn't do any of that at all in the year, if you had a amount of money that you could donate to the United Way, that there was no entertainment value put to it. That's what I talk about with the campaign, is like, okay, what can you give that, out of your check that you're not going to miss, that will benefit other people. So that's, because sometimes through the year you also hear of other fundraising things, which is fine, but there are always,
Yeah, it's something fun going on.
whether it be a Pop-A-Shot tournament or golf scramble or whatever. I
yeah.
mean, there are events that go on that have a little entertainment value to it also.
Oh,
So
sure. So you don't have to take a polar plunge, is
I'm
what
really
you're saying.
good at Pop-A-Shot.
She is very good at Pop-Shot.
I am
Okay,
Pop-A-Shot champion.
good to know. Good to know. I
Yeah, we
like
need
it.
a partner.
I will.
And I
because
like
I
to
like
jump in cold pools.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
you
we
do.
do that.
Yes,
Just for
yes.
fun
And
of
we're
it.
all about dunking booths, and
It's fun.
it is. It's way fun. And sometimes you have to make things fun because fighting poverty is serious business.
It
There's
is.
nothing to laugh about when you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about eradicating poverty and some of the issues that folks face. But it's okay. Sometimes you have to interject a little bit of fun.
That's
So,
what's terrific about our community, though, is to have that piece. Then we can go out and have a good time, and we know to support those causes. But then you have an organization like United Way, which we have fun at United Way.
Oh Lord, yes.
But it is serious business, and I think that's what's so terrific about our community. It's unbelievable, and like I said, going into these factories, you say they won't miss it out of their check, but they're making a sacrifice.
Sure.
Because if it's just $5 out of each check, that's a lunch, or
Right.
that's a pizza they could have gotten at Little Caesars. I mean,
Exactly.
that's something that they're going to miss, and so I just want to make sure that everybody knows that that's a sacrifice, whether it's a $10,000 check or $5.
You're
it's
exactly
important.
right. Yeah, and that's what I tell my folks. I had one of my coworkers, and she's like, "That's my Starbucks coffee. I'm giving
Yes.
up every week."
And she loves that.
And she loves it, and that's her thing and her treat. And or it might be your manicure, or like you said, it's a sacrifice. So I've tried to make mine like it's just a Coke.
It's just a Coke.
Stop drinking Cokes and give that money somewhere else. But you're exactly right. It's a sacrifice, and all those little sacrifices add up.
They do.
To one huge thing. So, so we want to give folks information, of course, if they want to get involved, because as we said, it is not too late to participate. Just because 2015 has passed us and we've hit the Sweet 16, it doesn't mean the campaign is conducted. That's what I'm calling this year's.
Sweet 16.
So Sweet 16,
That's nice.
2016, and that's sweet. I know, I love that. So that's what going to be our year, 20 Sweet 16. So folks can still give online through a one-time gift. They can do recurring credit card payments. Roll by Quixie and see Greg and drop off some money. He'll put you on the air. I'm just throwing that out there. It's a big enough check. I mean,
Big enough check, I'll put them on.
Yeah, heck yeah. Stop by, see the studio, that sort of thing. Of course, you can do payroll deduction. You can host a workplace campaign. Your small business, like Ryan, you can join the circle. You can do a corporate donation. A lot of companies are great at their corporate will match what the employees raise. So that's a great way to get involved. We can send you a bill. You can donate stock. You can do, there's so many ways you can give. And of course, there's always your time, your resources. That's the most valuable of all. So folks can,
But do your research.
yes.
Don't just rely on what we're saying.
Right.
Do your research. Social media now allows just so much stuff to happen where people can just post something they found somewhere that says this charitable organization or this charitable organization uses all your money for
Yeah.
themselves. I challenge you to ask the United Way of Central Kentucky how they use their funds. Look at the data. Don't just rely on some national little graphic that was sent out from 10 years ago that
Exactly.
really wasn't even accurate then. Look at the website. Ask the questions. They're so transparent. They'll tell you exactly what you want to know because they're that passionate about it. So just do your research. I mean, we're not just saying trust us, give money. Do
Right.
your research and give what you feel at that point.
That's very good,
So.
Greg. Very nice. Okay. Don't trust the man in the striped shirt is what he's saying.
Yeah, don't trust the man. It's like,
Trust the ones in the flannel.
I know, the flannels have got to go
Flannels
on.
in, stripes out.
They know. If only I had polka dots, we'd be a great setup here. So, yes, with that said, we want to encourage folks then to visit the website at unitedwayck.org. And I mean, it's great information, like you said, with all the stats and the figures and anything and everything you ever want to know about United Way is on the website. We also encourage folks to follow us on social media, like the Facebook page. There's good information on there because who doesn't go to Facebook to get the true information? If you want to know, if it's on Facebook, it's true. You know, I've had that conversation many a time. So, but in the case of United Way of Central Kentucky, it really is true. And you'll see lots of photos of your friends and neighbors and coworkers and all the great things they are doing and all that good stuff. So you want to check them out. Or you can just do the old-fashioned way and pick up the telephone and call 270-737-6608. And they can also answer any questions you might have. Stop by the office at 604 North Main in E-Town. Great staff, as you mentioned. I think they live there. I don't think they ever go home.
And it's a beautiful
It's
building.
beautifully restored building that we're so appreciative to have, and so you can stop
be proud of
by,
it.
get all your questions answered, and find out how you can get involved. Because a lot of times people do say they do, I want to volunteer, but I'm not sure. Well, is your interest with kids or the elderly or homelessness or whatever, and they can lead you in the right direction. So there are a million ways that folks can get involved. It's all about just getting involved, just doing that little bit. If everybody just did a little tiny bit, it would all add up to be huge. So.
Ants.
It does.
Ants.
The ants.
There you go. I'm
Honeybees.
digging that. Yeah, I'm digging that. Ants are marching. Wasn't that a song? Something. Okay, yeah. Well, we can't thank all of you enough. I know you're very humble and don't like to take a lot of credit, but thank you for your time, your energy, your resources, because it's a huge job taking on these leadership roles, leading your own small business, and being involved in the community. Like you said, you have plates to spin, you have children to raise, you have a lot going on. So on behalf of United Way, we really do appreciate your dedication, your investment, and that leadership that you're giving and hoping that others will follow in your footsteps. So like you said, you're training, raising up the next generation of Greg Milbys that will be giving back and leading this community.
That's a scary
Yes,
situation.
I know, the little Milbys of the world. So we're not all going to be around here forever, so the next generation will have to step up. So we appreciate all that you do and the example that you set, that you encourage and motivate. So hopefully by watching the show today, you've also encouraged some folks to get involved and champion the cause. And so we invite everyone to get involved with United Way of Central Kentucky. You will not be disappointed. You will not regret it. It will be the best investment that you could make. So thank you all so much again for your time, and we appreciate you tuning in and joining us for this edition. We hope that you'll join us again next time and that you'll give us a shout at unitedwayck.org. I'm Kendra Scott, and hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you out on the campaign trail.